I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, so it was a real ego death. It was real about like, I'm not my body. I'm not my job. Because with both those things taken away, I didn't have my body. I was like, oh shoot, what am I? And then I didn't have my job. I wasn't a provider. I wasn't on. And then it's kind of like you have to find out. That was a huge ego death for me. So it was about like, all right, who am I essentially as a person? And what I'm finding in the ego death for all of us as we age and as we evolve is our value as people rests in us just being still. And I think that our not enoughness is so much of my ambition was about me not being enough. And seeing queer people out there and seeing audiences out there, everybody wants to laugh. Yes. Queer people need to be reminded about how strong they are and what we've been through and what we continue to go through. And I'm just kind of reminding people that if you're queer and you're scared and you feel vulnerable, just remember that we have coping mechanisms. You're enough. Everybody else is on their own journey. They've got their journey, you've got your journey, and everybody's in their own head.
I'm Trevor Dumb Satire Dow.
And it's Kevin Pastiche de Kemp.
And this is VTV, the definitive podcast for all things LGBT travel,
Pop culture.
and where we share diverse perspectives from members within our community. On this episode, we sit down with Alec Mapa, who's a hilarious comedian, part of the Drag Race, family, and is a touring comedian, a television superstar, and recently had a little weight loss journey. I met Alex on this Mexico trip, and we clicked, and then it was like 2 weeks later, he invited me over for Thanksgiving at his house. Baby, when I tell you that was like the most... Talk about community, the gayest, queerest. It was like a movie. It was so sweet. He has such an incredible community. And to me, what was evident was like, this is someone who's been in LA for decades, has an adult child now at this point.
Right.
His chosen family was so beautiful to get to be welcomed into and to experience. It was like, what I hope to do in this space with people is like make sure that there's that dinner space or whatever it is, and he's just, anyways, I couldn't rave more and more about Alec Mapa
And let's celebrate Alec Mapa by going into his interview.
Yes.
Hello, welcome to VTV. It's me, Kevin, and
Trevor.
we're joined by a special guest, comedian extraordinaire Alec Mapa.
Hi, everybody.
Hi. Thanks for joining us for VTV.
Oh, no, I am thrilled. It's so beautiful here. It's very White Lotus. I now identify as a rich white woman.
How does that feel?
It's great. My pronouns are Karen, Gwyneth, and Tiffany. And it's so nice, but we're so friendly, I think, because like all queer people have worked in service industry jobs. So we're nice to waiters, we're nice to people behind the hotel desk, and they're so relieved.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The first day they're like, whoa, okay, nice. And then now they're like, hi. They're like so
Family,
happy that we're here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It is kind of, you've been doing LGBT travel for years now at this point.
Yeah, good 20 years. Yeah.
Performing for various companies literally all around the world. Mm-hmm. Is that something that you feel like has changed throughout those 20 years? Like, did you notice a different, like when you first started traveling in these kind of spaces with this, with community,
right?
What was that like?
I feel like, I'm 60 now. And so I've had a front row seat to the evolution of our culture. And I've seen us gone from very niche entertainments that only we knew about to... drag was something that we all watched in bars at 3:00 in the morning in places and neighborhoods where nothing good happened. Yes. And now to kind of see it scrubbed clean and on television, like we went for my birthday, we were in Vegas and we saw RuPaul's Drag Race live.
Yeah.
And it was like a theme park show. It was like Epcot. First of all, it started on time. So we're like, this is not a real drag show at all. But it was kind of, it was still naughty. It was still gay, but it was a kind of drag show that like, you can take your grandma to.
Yes, for sure.
Nothing terrible is going to happen. Nothing really dirty is going to happen. So I've kind of
And it's also budget. Like, there's a budget to that show.
Yeah.
Versus drag show in a bar.
A drag show in
Yeah.
a bar where but that's kind of like the magic of a drag show in a bar is kind of seeing people go to Pick and Save or the 99-cent only store and make a Met
Rest in peace.
Gala bound. Yeah, rest in peace, 99-cent only. But you know what I mean? That kind of thrift on a dollar. But long story long, I've seen our culture become more mainstream. It's like drag queens are pop stars. It's natural for pop stars to kind of embrace us.
Yes.
Yeah.
And emulate.
Right.
Or outwardly emulate
Which
versus
is why conservative people are pushing back against the influence of that because it's so mainstream.
Yeah.
And in fact, I have a 20-year-old son, and that generation does not give a shit about sexuality or gender. It's not an issue to them because they've grown up with it.
yeah.
You were touring for so long, and you have so many fun specials.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you up to like right now?
Right now, it's like we were talking about this a couple of days ago. I had a life-threatening illness 2 years ago. I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, so it was a real ego death. It was real about like I'm not my body and not my job.
Yeah. Wow.
Because with both those things taken away, I didn't have my body. I was like, oh shoot, what am I? And then I didn't have my job. I wasn't a provider. I wasn't on. And then it's kind of like you have to find out. That was a huge ego death for me. So it was about like, all right, who am I essentially as a person? And what I'm finding in the ego death for all of us as we age and as we evolve is our value as people rests in us just being still. And I think that our not enoughness is so much of my ambition was about me not being enough. I have to get this amazing job. I have to be because I was a gay kid and I grew up kind of feeling like I needed to compensate because I wasn't enough. And I think a lot of us have that psychic
like a
wound.
velvet rage kind
That velvet, exactly. And it's so common. It's not even interesting. But you know what I mean?
I understand. Yeah.
So I think that right now, I having just gone through that, I'm reassessing everything. And since I'm 60, I just want the rest of it to be fun. And I want to come from that place where I'm enough and make people feel like they're enough. Because I feel like when you heal some part of yourself, you kind of see it in everybody else too.
So, you can see like,
you can see like, oh, you're
spiraling a little.
Yeah. And I have a little more sympathy for it instead of like going, oh, she's a mess. You know what I mean? It's like, we're all a mess.
Is there like some parallel between your son, who is your son's Gen Z, and like also this new thought process into like, I'm not my body, I'm not my work ethic,
right?
What am I? Is Gen Z, do you think, like has a different perspective on their relationship with work?
They're having a reckoning with who they are because they're competing against socials. And what socials is a false avatar representing you out in the world or just an avatar of you out there. Do you know what I mean? And it provides whatever narrative that you want to put up with. And what the anxiety that kids are having right now is they put a social media avatar out there that doesn't necessarily line up with who they are. And so there's that anxiety about that gap. How do I maintain that? How do I, anytime you're not in alignment with yourself, it's always work. Right. So with my kid, I want him to do stuff that he's 20 now and he's still figuring out. 20 is that's the generation where you're a bumper car and you can make all the mistakes. And I said, you have all the time in the world. All we care about is that you're doing work that you love. And if you're doing what you love for a living, you're making a contribution. And also he's like me, he has ADHD. He only shows up for things that he's interested in and right now with him, it's composing music. And so when he was growing up, I took him to sets with me all the time because I wanted him to see that being an artist was a real job.
Right.
Like you can do hair, you can build sets,
there's so many
work on
different
lights.
avenues too. It is not just one thing.
And you know that from living in LA, a set environment, if you learn about a set, you can do any job. You can produce, you can coordinate, you can be a travel agent.
You're also just great at, you have to be great at communication.
Great at
that
communication.
Is like a skill that
So my son has that. So my son
that's
has
great.
that, you know.
Great foundation.
Yeah, and he's a black kid, and he's grown up with gay guys. So as an adult, I'm watching him like enter, and he lives in Newport Beach. So I'll see him enter an exclusively white space, and people kind of go, "Oh," but then he code switches, and he can sound like a 40-year-old white guy. And I could see people's faces change.
Whoa.
But it's like, and at first I was like, where did he learn that? And it's like, oh, he learns that from us, because as queer people, we're doing that all the time. You know, because we travel all the time. And, you know, in queer, you know, travel, we have to figure out all the time, okay, where is it okay for us to be cool?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, being gay and traveling.
Yeah.
That's why
it's
kind of
Vakaya
spaces.
is, yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully Vakaya does a good job of making it feel as what you would hope to find on a vacation.
Right.
Because it's like already
still,
set up.
It's still not easy for us. I mean, we live in a bubble.
Yes.
But, you know, I'm not ignorant to the fact that, you know, you travel 20 minutes outside of LA.
Right.
I mean, down to Huntington Beach or even Downey.
Yeah. It becomes very conservative and becomes very kind of, it's a different vibration here.
Yeah, but there's something about emulating what you want the world to be. Don't you think? I think maybe there's a nuance here between like the bubble and what the world could be as far as like a peaceful place.
Well, I feel like I kind of take my happiness wherever I am. I'm not here to f*** anybody.
Right.
Do no harm.
I mean, maybe on occasion, though.
Yeah,
Some
maybe on
people do.
occasion.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, I think that, you
Maybe
know,
they deserve it.
yeah, maybe they deserve it. But, you know, I've been sober for 4.5 years, but I remember when I was drunk and when I used to drink, and I'd be like looking around, going,
what trouble can you cause?
Exactly, a little bit.
So you feel like you're less of a troublemaker now, or you just trouble in a different way?
I can think evil thoughts. I won't necessarily act on those
evil thoughts.
Yeah.
Unless there's a butt print on the glass.
I have a little better impulse control. Let's just say that. Yeah.
Do you have a good impulse control?
No, I don't. Not at all. I wish.
What? An impulse control problem? Yeah. No.
I wish I had better impulse control.
Okay.
Great. Don't you think?
It's not going to be a deathbed regret that I had more impulse control.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a lot of fun. I mean,
I want.
I think that's where you kind of get to know yourself very quickly.
Yeah. I mean, it's what's it called? Natural consequences. It's when you learn, like, okay, I don't want to put my hand on that flame again. It's like,
the ego death that you just mentioned regarding going. Also, congratulations. Are you currently?
I'm currently clear of all cancer. I was diagnosed 2 years ago. And then I had a protocol where they had prostatectomy, and then I had to they had to check me every 3 months to see my levels, my PSA levels, the prostate-specific antigen, and it didn't come back. So,
congratulations.
Yeah, so I'm really, really happy, and but ego death, big time. Like, I'm really like, people ask, you know, what's next? I'm like, I don't know.
It probably feels freeing.
It feels freeing. I mean, like a friend of mine, she lost her whole house in Altadena earlier this year. And I saw her 6 months later, and she was so bright. And I was like, how are you? She goes, I feel like a new person. She goes, I don't have anything. I don't have anything. I raised my kids in that house. I have no past.
Wow.
And she's going, and she goes, and I've never felt that way before. She goes, all my clothes are new. All my furniture is new.
Everything.
Right.
Yeah, and she's going,
new restart.
yeah, so I kind of feel that way too. It's kind of like, well, you know, I think that, but what's different now is my intentionality. You know, I want to have fun. I want to come from a high place. I want to come from a place of service, and I think that
you've been servicing a lot at this resort.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah, you're welcome. My jaw is about to become unhinged, and going on these vacations made me less judgmental of everybody.
Really?
Because I would go up to like the biggest like circuit queen, you know, just like all pumped up, and he'd be standing there like, and I'd be like, "Are you okay?" You know, like, oh, I'm all right. Nobody's talking to me.
Yeah. So
I had a friend who did the steroid thing, and he was like a monster, and I was like, "What happened to you?" And he goes, "I'd like to give it a try." And I said, "How is it?" He goes, "Nobody's talking to me." And I saw him a year later. And he said, and he was back to normal, and he was perfectly attractive before.
Yeah.
And I said, "How do you feel?" He goes, "I feel better. Like people literally would not talk to me." He goes, "I was too big, I was too intimidating, and now I kind of like this." But I think that whatever
to
we
step out of your body to actually
but
appreciate the
I
body
feel
that
like
you're
that
in.
was also everybody else's baggage
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
too. That we kind of like look at people who are hot, or and then we immediately make a judgment about them, or it's just also 8th grade.
Yes.
Very
still, yeah.
Well, and I
Yeah.
feel like it, in some ways, it makes sense that there's a lot of trauma from growing up.
because we
gay.
didn't have that. We weren't socialized like everybody else.
Yes. Yeah. So that for some carries through, I think, even into adulthood, where you're just like, I still don't know. You could change everything about yourself and still feel out of body.
Right.
Because
Right. And then you see all the influencers in the 20s with their phone and just kind of like, and it's and it's all about the externals. Look at me, look at me, look at me. But now I'm like, I can't even judge it because I did it.
Right. Yeah.
You did it very well.
Yeah, I did it. I'm in show business. I can't judge anybody, but it's just like I get it. I get the need to kind of like blow yourself up and everything.
Well, and you want to, I mean, and at the end of the day, you have to do what you think is going to make you feel good in your body. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes
and that's
it
part
works.
of the journey and the
and
process.
sometimes it doesn't. But the thing is, like, it's so nice to be at this age where you kind of like, I don't know, to kind of arrive at an age where I can just kind of go in and talk to people and not be.
Not give a fuck.
Well, I think when I was drinking, I drank to escape vulnerability. And I think in social situations, I'm kind of a more naturally introverted person. On stage, I'm an extrovert. I can do that. That's fine. I was trained to do that. I know how to do that. That's my job. But off stage, I'm a little more of a Cancer. I'm always home. I'm always cooking. I'm always homemaking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and that's kind of dull. Going into social spaces, so
sure.
like me going into a social space, I kind of have to go
Prepare. Mentally prepare.
Yeah, just kind of take a breath and kind of do it. But I can do it better now. But like, without alcohol, that was a real.
What are
tough
Alec
thing.
Mapa's tips for being vulnerable?
For being vulnerable, I think just to kind of call out your own feelings in the moment. Like, this is weird. Okay, so I was invited to this. I get real self-conscious. I have a lot of rich friends in LA, and I just hate going to their houses. Just kind of like, I like my friends, but I just hate the
show of it all.
yeah.
For all of
So
that.
we were at some producer's house, and it was one of the things where the lawn's bigger than the house. And we show up and there's somebody with wine and everything. And it's all strangers. It's all industry people. And I showed up and I grabbed a glass of wine and I'm standing in front of a group of strangers. And I was like, this is my worst nightmare. I said, I don't know anybody. And I said, I'm in the middle of Beverly Hills and you all look
It's
very...
a code switch in a way, actually.
I said, you all look very wealthy and accomplished. And I feel like, a fish. And they all laughed. And then we all were able to introduce each other.
I feel like you also have had an incredible career. We're very lucky to have you join us at Vakaya.
Oh, thank you.
You've literally, I feel like, done everything under the moon. What's the next thing that you
I still want to, I will, this is what I'm speaking truth to. I would love to have like a series regular role on a series that runs for 7 years, goes into syndication, and then I can quit.
Yeah.
Because the 2 series that I did that went to syndication, Half and Half and Ugly Betty, are now on Netflix, and I'm not getting anything.
Really?
So, yeah. So
my God.
I'm getting it occasionally. The stuff that I get stuff for is like Nickelodeon, like Henry Danger, or Disney Channel stuff because it's still on terrestrial television.
TV, yeah.
But anything that went to streaming, it's like we're not getting the same payout that we used to.
Oh, yeah.
So I would like to end the career kind of like, because the television schedule is just the
It's
best.
nice. It's consistent.
Yes.
Structure. I mean, it's kind of like what Universal offered. It's like,
it's the best. It's the best. I mean, I love working on the lots and everything. I love kind of visualizing what the old studio days must have been like and everything. But, in the meantime, I have a lot of gratitude for what I've done and where I've been. I'm a little gay Filipino boy from San Francisco. I've gone further than I ever thought I would, and it was just because I was just.
It was, well, you were you, and that's.
I think growing up in San Francisco had a lot to do with it.
Sure.
I had a lot of queer people around me going, don't change a thing. But I had to carry that with me to New York and carry that with me to LA. And, all of this is cyclical. There's lots of times where the tide goes out and you're like, ugh. And that's when the spiritual practice has to
come into play.
Because it's always about where are you right now? Where are you right now? And sometimes.
And accept it.
Yeah. Sometimes right now, this is it. This is what's not happening. And I think that when you stop resisting that.
Yes, right.
Because LA is also, the trap of LA is you're also surrounded by people who are doing it, and seeing queer people out there and seeing audiences out there. Everybody wants to laugh.
Yes.
Queer people need to be reminded about how strong they are and what we've been through and what we continue to go through. And I'm just kind of reminding people that if you're queer and you're scared and you feel vulnerable, just remember that we have coping mechanisms.
And that's what's so interesting about the LGBTQ community is there are people from every other minority,
and
it's really one of the only minorities and communities that does have that as
umbrella
of
diversity.
People being able to, and I'm never going to understand what it's like to be a Filipino man in America, but I can relate on what it's like to be a queer person. So it's one of that I feel like is one of the greatest powers that the community has, in that we really have people from all walks of life that we can learn from.
Right. We have that commonality. And I think also, being this age, I was witness to how our community behaved in the 80s.
Yes.
And I feel like in the 80s, we really got on a spiritual level, because it was a life or death situation, that if it's happening to one of us, it's happening to me. Do you know what I mean? It's like we were all vulnerable in the same way. And so I talked about on stage about how the lesbians stepped up for us, because they got it on a spiritual level, on a feminine level, on a feminine spiritual energy, that this is happening to us, our community, my friends, my brothers and sisters, and so I kind of miss that kind of holistic way we used to think. But again, we're up against it again. The cycle has come around again. And I'm finding that the young people are having to mobilize in ways that they're now having to fight for their place. In ways that we did before. But it's good. It's good because it changes every single generation.
Well, and another, I feel like incredible attribute now for the current younger generation is that you have people like your son who are raised by gay fathers, which wasn't, I'm sure existed in the 80s, but wasn't as
common.
Yeah. And so that in itself offers a different kind of, I don't know your son's sexuality, but a different kind of allyship to one, be adopted, and then two, be raised by queer people is a completely different.
Well, he wasn't the only kid raised by queer parents in the school system where we were, but we found growing up that all the kids who were raised by queer parents were the safe place for all the other queer kids in school. So my son identifies as bi.
Wow.
And in high school, all the queer kids, all the weirdos would gather with him because they knew he had queer parents. And then all my other friends who raised boys, all the lesbians who raised boys, all the guys turned out really great.
Yes.
They're like non-douchey guys. I think that gay people raise boys to be non-douchey kids. I raised a boy, so I raised him not to be a dick.
Yes.
I sent him to Planned Parenthood at 9 years old. We teach him consent. We teach him consent class. And he said, Daddy, the next day he's like, make me open my hand. I said, open your hand. He goes, nope. He goes, try to pry it open. I tried to pry it open. I said, open your hand. I'm going to be really angry. He says, no. I said, you give up? He goes, okay. Whether or not I open my hand is my decision. And whatever you wanted to do was what you wanted to do. But whether or not I open my hand is my decision, and that's consent.
That's pretty powerful.
And I said, I'm amazing. And I said, that's great. And I hugged him. And he goes, I didn't give you consent to touch me. And I was like, how dare you? But it was but I think it's the gay people, because we're growing up in the world of we have an idea of what type of masculinity is oppressive. And so I want to, because not all masculinity is bad. I feel like masculinity is great if it's in service to, we all have masculine, feminine energies, and our masculine energy, our action, or taking action in the world is supposed to be in service to the feminine. It's supposed to be in service to, I have an idea for creation, or think, okay, then I can act it out. Or I have an idea of the type of work I want to do, or a kind of vibe I want to create, and then you carry it out. But when it's just masculine for the idea of taking, this is mine, this is you, I want to make this happen, and it's not lined up with your intuition, then it can get kind of chaotic. And I think that's what's happening.
It's been like that forever. It's been so long.
We're out of balance. And so the country is like watching all of this cruelty, watching all of this masculinity, and watching all of this grabbing. And I think people are evolving, well, certainly queer people, and everybody else is looking at it on a global scale and deciding, is this me? Do I want to be a part of this? Am I? And I think that it's kind of like, it comes back to the activism of the 80s again. We witness all this cruelty, and we're going, that's not me.
Yeah,
That's not us. I'm not
that's
a part
the
of
human
this.
experience. That's not what it should be.
I'm not, like, just being in Mexico and going into town and seeing people dancing and being carefree and seeing Mexican people not being terrorized was like just the best part of this trip.
So wondering if we're gonna go back the other way in terms of maybe culture, and where we embrace the divine feminine features of ourselves to kind of nurture and create beauty with every.
I think that's a really great question, but I think that exists no matter what, the divine feminine and everything. And it's everything, the spiritual speed up right now. This is where I'm going to get really woo woo.
I'm in.
The spiritual speed up that's happening right now is the stuff that doesn't work is falling away real fast for me. So when I find out that I'm out of alignment and I'm acting in the old ways, it does not work. It falls apart real fast. When I'm reactive and nasty, it blows up in my face real fast. When I'm judgmental, real fast. When I'm jealous, when I'm, like, she's getting work and everything, it's like poison shooting through me. And then when I take a moment and go, shut up, you're enough. Everybody else is on their own journey. They've got their journey, you've got your journey, and everybody's in their own head.
Right. I mean, to be able to notice that and digest it quickly is different than like having it take over. Yeah.
My son heckles us. He heckles me and my husband, and he takes the piss out of everything. So my husband and I will like be getting ready for an event, and we'll be like, does this look good? Does this, I'm going to wear this. They've seen me in this before, that kind of, and my son will go, nobody cares. He'll like stick his head in and go, nobody cares. And we'll like, oh yeah. Like, and that takes the piss out of everything. It's like you're fussing with your hair, and they're like, nobody cares. And it's true that nobody cares the way you do.
Yes, yeah.
Like, while you're in this spiral.
No, I mean, it is it's kind of a great reminder in ways.
Nobody's
it's definitely the
you.
Delivery, and it's definitely the relation to you that probably hits differently. You
went to school and you were able to talk about what you had all just seen, the video that had just come out and everything. And now it's like that, but it's immediate.
Yes.
It's immediate, and also they're deciding what they and it's so divided, It's so that's why I'm interested in the communal experience of live theater and performance and everybody being in the same room.
You think that'll make a comeback?
Generation Alpha, the kids after Generation Z, are now enjoying going to the movies because they were cooped up during the pandemic.
Yes.
And so
it's like a whole new world.
Now they like going to the movies. They like going to the mall. They want to try clothes on.
Yes.
So that's exciting.
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll see. Everything's cyclical. Are you both on Grindr?
I have Grindr.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare.
Is it?
I don't know.
The free version is.
Yeah.
It's.
Oh, you have to
pay for it now.
You have to pay for it.
But also, Grindr's like $40 a month or something. Isn't that crazy?
Okay. See, the old-fashioned way from my grandpa.
Well, but this is also
used to go out and meet people and get a vibe and smell them.
I'm leaning into smelling them.
Smell them.
Yeah, no, to me, that's me. I'm like sensory.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? I'm a slut, but I'm a discerning slut. If somebody smells,
sniff a little.
Yeah, I like if to me, it's everybody's particular. It's also subjective.
Yes,
I think
yes.
sexuality, that's like why I become less judgmental of the way people look, because there's a pot for every lid.
Yes. Yes.
You know, there's somebody into everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I excluded myself from that when I was in my 20s because I thought because I didn't look like everybody else that I was like,
Oh no, they're looking for you.
yeah. My son was like, you know, nobody cares. One time when he was a kid, he was like, stop trying to look like everybody else. You're you. And I was like,
Like,
go
damn,
to
read
your
me.
room. Yeah. I'm trying to get ready. But I like smells. Like if somebody smells bad, I'm like, or if somebody has like kind of like
A breath.
like a
Okay, wait.
kind of like a icky, like a ick. You know, it's subjective ick. I think there's no separation in subjective communication.
Yes.
Like on the outside, somebody can be like, "Hey, how are you?" But you can feel right away if somebody's like,
Yes.
"Yeah."
We wanted to play a game with you, but before we get into that
Okay.
game, to close out the interview, I wanted to ask, just for those at home, what are your top 3 favorite scents?
Top 3 favorite scents?
Yeah.
Like perfume?
Alec Mapa's
Top
top
three
3
favorite
favorite
scents.
smells.
Gardenia. I love any kind of gardenia growing out of a bush. Like that is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
There's a sampaguita flower in the Philippines. If you ever go to the Philippines, all the street kids, they put this lei on you. It's called a sampaguita flower. It is so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't smell it anywhere else. And Santal 33. I always buy it for myself when I get a job because it's super expensive.
Love.
And
That's like the treat for yourself.
Yeah. In the 90s, when I first came to LA and I'd get a job, I'd treat myself to Chin Chin because I lived in Hollywood and that was like a little more pricey and I could like get gyoza and stuff. Like that was the treat. So now whenever I get an acting job or something, I just like give yourself a little treat as like that's what I recommend.
Like, yes,
Just
I
treat
booked
yourself.
it. And
yeah, I booked yourself. Or even if you haven't booked something in a long time, still buy yourself a present to kind of cheer yourself.
I love that.
Absolutely. Shall we play the game?
Okay, Alex Mapa, we're gonna play a game called Mapa or Miss Hapa. Alec figures out if the quote is something he actually said, or if it's a made-up quote.
Okay.
And
You're
you
asking
know
this
that
as
you
somebody
have
who used to drink.
Yeah, you have a plethora of
Okay.
actual quotes.
Oh, no.
So
Okay, here's the first quote. My mother always told me, if you're going to Broadway, wear sequins everywhere, even the airport.
No, my mother would.
that
never
was
say
fake. That was fake. I remember
yeah,
that being fake.
yeah, I
Okay.
can't imagine. My mother was a very modest lady.
All right. Next quote is get real. If you really wanted to protect kids from sexual predators, you'd be protesting youth pastors and priests.
That's me.
That is you.
That is me.
I might actually just remember all.
Every time a youth pastor gets arrested,
Oh
it's
my
not
gosh.
a drag queen. It's like it's every week.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
It's every week. It's always a youth pastor.
yes.
I don't do yoga. I prefer to let my anxiety stretch me out naturally.
That sounds like something I'd say.
Ding.
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 Yeah, it sounds
I
like
think
an
it was
old tweet.
that's a real quote. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next quote. I love how UK queens take the piss out of everything. The minute any queen takes herself too seriously, I want to fart in her face.
That's me.
It is you, yes.
I hate humorless drag queens. I think if you're a man in a dress, you should be funny.
yes.
Yeah, you're a man in a dress. You got balls and pantyhose. It's funny.
I do also think, though, that what's interesting, and I was going to bring this up earlier, is because you are a part of the Drag Race family.
Yeah.
An integral part. Like, I feel like drag, because it became so mainstream,
Yeah.
is going to circle back again to where younger queens now are actually going to be doing that, like, 99-cent only store kind of drag.
Because we've seen the Cackety Cat. We've seen the
Yes.
Gaga one piece
Yes.
with the shoulder pads. We've seen the big
Yes.
hair. We've seen the Cackety Cat. So now I'm more interested in what's original.
Yeah, what's
like
the-
if a queen came out on the runway looking like Demi Moore at the last 5 minutes of the substance, she's gonna win for me because that's memorable.
Yes.
I think what drag has to be, it's always has to be memorable.
Yes.
And I think that's what's great about that art form is it can reinvent itself over and over and over again.
Absolutely. You haven't lived until you've been booed by drag queens. It's like being baptized in glitter and shame.
I didn't say that.
You did not say that.
Yeah,
It was
that's
fake.
good though.
Well, you can use it.
Yeah, that's good though. Yeah.
Thank you so much for
Thank
joining us for an
you.
interview. Thank you
Yes.
for being a part of the Vakaya family. You are an integral part to many families.
Yay.
But really, we are so lucky to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Likewise.
And let's enjoy the last day of Camp Vakaya, baby.
Yes.
We are prepping for our Total Eclipse cruise, which is completely sold out. It's been sold out for a year, like crazy. We are about to announce and launch our 2027 second big ship cruise, but that is not out yet. But I did want to just mention, the entertainment for this Total Eclipse cruise is off the walls, incredible. Like a comedian that I'm so excited for. I can't talk about it yet because it hasn't been announced. But if they're pulling out all these stops for the Total Eclipse cruise, our 10th birthday Caribbean cruise in 2027, baby, that entertainment is going to be stacked. So if you want to join us on our 2027 Caribbean cruise, you should go to vakaya.com and check out all the details and get your room now because it will sell out. It will.
And we'll see you next episode on VTV.